It's the end of the year and the end of season 2 Car Biz Chronicles, and we wrap it up with my guy Kendall Dahmen, Zimbrick Automotive Group here in Madison, Wisconsin. And man, this guy went out and got an unbelievable venue to have us sit down and chat at the Kohl Center up in Madison at University of Wisconsin Athletics. It was awesome, man. It was so cool for someone who's grown up a sports fan to be in that room talking with Kendall about it. And Kendall is such a coach. You know, it's really how he approaches his life. You know, right next to his office, always a quote of the day, always about him trying to inspire and work with his people. You're going to hear him talk about some really, really interesting stuff. And one of the things is pretty cutting edge. He talks about work schedule of his people. And you guys got to know something. Zimbrick Automotive Group probably already has the most responsible, respectful sales hours of any automotive organization. But in this episode, they're going to blow your mind because they're looking to maybe potentially take it to the next level. It's really, really incredible stuff. So this is the best way to wrap up the year, wrap up the Car Biz Chronicles. Kendall brings it. We had a ton of fun. As I said earlier, the background was outstanding. So please, grab your team, sit down, take a note or two, and enjoy Kendall Dahmen, the coach of Zimbrick Automotive. Hello and welcome everyone to the Car Biz Chronicles finale. We are coming to you from the Kohl Center, Madison, Wisconsin. I'm joined by my good friend, Kendall Dahmen. Kendall, how are you, my friend?
Thanks for having me, man.
Oh, dude, it's awesome. We're so stoked. So this is the finale. This is the last episode of the season about people and process. And reason we brought Kendall on is because Kendall has been in the car business a long time, and his story is extremely unique, and I really want to share it with people because I think he's done a great job. So, Kendall, tell us, what is the origin story? Where did it all start in the car business for Kendall?
Oh man, it started a long time ago, and I think that I'm really not that old. But 1993, graduated from college. Didn't really know what I wanted to do. I thought, I'm going to sell something. I just didn't know what I wanted to sell, and my mom and dad have always bought their cars from the Zimbrick family, so I thought, well, I'll give it a whirl. What the hell, you know? So started, and I was on the new Buick sales floor, and as a 23-year-old kid selling Buicks to people that are 3 and 4 times your age,
sure.
It was pretty much a tough start.
Yeah, you learn quick.
But a year and a half went by, and I slowly moved up the chain from there. Only sold for a year and a half, which was really, kind of hard because I really didn't develop a base of people that I could keep selling, but moved into management, new Buick sales manager for about 4 years. Zimbrick family came to me and said, hey, you can never be a general manager unless you have used car experience. And I'm like, there's no difference between new cars and used cars, and
sure,
there is a difference.
Coming from a new car manager,
there is a difference from new cars to used cars.
Yeah,
so I went down there. I was a used car sales manager for about 2 years, and became a GSM for about 2, and I've been a general manager for 16 years now of a place that I never thought I would stay at this long. But I'm here because of the people, and I'm here to tell you guys it is all about the people. Our business is all about the people. We are a people business, and that's why I'm still here today 26 years later. 26 years later,
so you were on the desk. Did you ever sit in finance?
I sat in finance for a whopping 6 months.
So I 9 months, worst 9 months of my life. I was not fit for it.
It's hard, and it's changed a lot.
Yeah, now
it's changed a lot. The business has changed a lot. Clients have changed a lot. People have changed a lot, but I am a better manager today because I was a salesperson, a new car, used car, F&I. I even spent every Friday for a month in service and parts just watching what those guys do, which I didn't know what they do. I appreciate what they do because it's one of the tougher jobs they have, but that's how I really got to know service and parts, is just by learning from the people that have been with us for 30 years.
Right, and just being in the room, though, right?
Right.
And really taking it in and watching what they do.
And listening, right.
Right, so when you talk about, it's interesting, you bring up change of people. The business has obviously changed how we handle salespeople, when we hire, how we train. But at Zimbrick, you guys have always been very specific in what happens when you get hired into your organization. Talk to me a little bit about the process of someone getting hired to Zimbrick. What happens next? Because at most stores, you get thrown on a lot and you're just told to sell cars.
Right.
Tell me about the Zimbrick way of bringing people in.
Process is long. So think back to 1993. I was interviewing to be a new Buick sales person.
Okay.
No experience.
None.
How many how many interviews do you think I went through? Take a guess.
4.
7.
Okay.
7 interviews to sell cars, and I'm like.
And were you going up the chain on these interviews? Did you start with like a sales manager, then go up?
Yep. Okay, well, and worked, and you met with 4 different sales managers, GSM, HR. You met with a lot of different people. So times have changed, but we are not one to meet somebody today and say we're going to hire you. You're going to start tomorrow. So it's the whole hire slowly, fire quickly, but we really hire slowly. But with us, once we interview somebody probably 3 times, it's what it's going to take for them to know us and for us to really know them. Once they decide to come work for us, we start the process a week before they actually start to work for us. So there's things that we have to do and they have to do before they're even employed by us. Once they start, we have a whole checklist of each and every day of what the salesperson and the sales manager needs to accomplish in that day for an entire month. So each and every day it is spelled out for them in a plan of meet and greet. If that's the first step in the road to the sale, we work meet and greet consistently that day. It's not just forms and tools and all that stuff. It's more about how we sell cars and what we do, because
the Zimbrick process of selling cars. It's not just because you guys don't do business like everyone else does business in town. So that's what sets it apart.
Well, everybody thinks they're different. Everybody thinks they do it a different way. And really, we really can't do what they do, and they really can't do what we do. Everybody's got their special niche, and ours is we really believe in developing people. Okay. And that starts before they even come to work for us, is to say, here's what you need to get done, minus 7 days before you come to work for us, minus 6 days. Once they get there, the whole tour, the meet of everybody that works for us, from anywhere from the drinking fountains to the lunchrooms to the bathrooms, meeting everybody. I mean, we are a company now of over 1,000 people. It's a lot for them just to get a tour of who it is we are.
And then after that, there's training, right? There's the whole road to the sale.
Right.
There's additional investment you guys make in your people. Kendall, is it because so you guys, if I remember correctly, it's not necessarily promote from within for sales managers. I've seen sales managers from outside the organization, but to your level, general managers have to come from within, right? They have to be brought up through it. Do you think that's valuable?
I do. I think it's good to learn the Zimbrick way, going back to the sales training. So after we've got this whole list done of things that need to be done a month, they sit in a classroom type setting for 8 hours a day for an entire week, and they learn about us, culture, what it is we do, how it is we do things, meet and greet, interview, select a car, walk around, demo drive, you name it. 15 steps of what we think is important for them to have success to sell a car. Right. We gotta put them in the right places and put them in the right training so they're gonna be successful. If we just throw them out there and say, here you go to it, best of luck, we know you can do it, it's probably not. It's probably not going to work. So we try to invest in them. I've always said the more I can put into their mind, the more intelligently they're going to speak, and in the end, they're going to be a lot more successful. Which if they are, we are.
Because as an organization, you're hoping to find, Tom's talked about it forever, you're hoping to find the next salesperson is supposed to be part of the bench.
Right.
It's supposed to be part of the future of the organization. So you're not just hiring a salesperson to lock them into a sales position for the rest of their life. You're trying to grow the human.
Right.
Is that come from has that always been the culture since you were there back in the early 90s? I mean, has that always been the way?
Yes, it's always tough, but you're always trying to build your bench. So I actually take a look at it. We talk a lot about baseball. Yeah, we do. I always take a look at it from single A to double A to triple A to.
That's where I did it from. Yeah.
I made it to the big leagues, right?
That's it. Yeah.
And we always take a look at, okay, who's next in line? Who has proven that they're worthy of taking the next step up? And that's actually with me. I mean, I sold for a year and a half. I sold cars. I did well. Somebody saw something in me to say this guy's next. And that's actually where I got it from. It's nothing new to me.
Right.
It's nothing new to us. We're always trying to career path somebody to be the next GM. I got to think every day, who's going to take my job someday? Because I really can't move on to the next job until I have somebody ready to take my job.
Correct.
If I'm in sales, I can't be ready to take on the next role, a GSM role, unless I got somebody ready to take my job. And people are afraid to do that. People are afraid to say, oh, Sean's going to come and take my job someday. What am I going to do? Growing people grow people.
Right.
Growing people grow people. That's one thing you got to
It was one of the first things I sat down with the general manager when I first got interviewed, and he said, do you want my job? I was like, well, yeah. He's like, then good. Right. You know, and it was kind of like, you know, you want to, I didn't know how I was supposed to answer, but the idea is, yeah, of course I want that job. Of course I want to be the next level. So how do you balance that as a general manager, looking at your scale of people, salespeople, sales managers? Say you've got a sales manager who leaves, it isn't always the top sales guy makes the best manager, right? So how do you sort of work? James Skolaski is a perfect example, right? Dude is a killer salesman, isn't a manager, but I think everyone involved is okay with that, and that's great.
Including James.
That's what I mean. So is that a part of a conversation you're always having with your people about what their goals are?
Yeah, and I think the best player doesn't make the best coach. Sometimes the kid that sat the bench and was number 15 becomes the best coach.
Yeah.
Because he just knows the game and gets it. He just couldn't play it.
Sure.
Right? We have a lot of people that work for us that are like, hey, I don't want to be part of management at all. And that's fine, because we need those people too. We need those people that just want to do their job, do it well, make a good wage, and just keep providing outstanding customer service, which is great. We have others that say, I want to take the next job. And those are the people we need to look at and say, okay, what can we do to help them take the next step? And then what's next and what's next? And it goes more to just selling cars. The person that sells the most cars isn't necessarily going to get the next step.
Right.
There are other things to it.
There is a lot more to it. And I think a lot of people just take a look at selling cars and think to themselves, well, you just sell cars. That's not really what it is. It's an experience. It's someone's biggest purchase of their life besides a house. You guys always approach customers so specifically. Again, the customer-centric approach, has it always been the Zimbrick way to just put the customer absolutely first? And is that, I know it sounds silly to say like we should all do that, but it doesn't happen.
Right. Well, and there's a saying years and years ago, rule number 1, the customer's always right. Rule number 2, when the customer's wrong, refer to rule number 1, right? The customer's always right. But yeah, all the way from Mr. John Zimbrick has instilled in everybody that the customer is number 1. And really the customer is not number 1, the employee is number 1. And that's where we need to change our entire thinking. Employees come first. If we didn't have them, we wouldn't have clients probably. So customers are important. We need them. We need them to keep our business, but really employees are what drives our business. We got to have them, and that's what it needs to be. Employees need to be number 1. I'm number 2 or number 3 or number 5 down the chain. But if we don't have the right people selling cars, servicing cars, F&I-ing cars, parts and cars, we're done.
Right, because it does come down to the people side of the business when it relates to that. With the hiring process, do you guys do the same thing for internal promotion?
We do.
Is it multiple interviews that go through that as well?
We do. So every job that we have open gets posted on the inside of the company and on the outside.
Okay.
We like to promote from within because growing people grow people, but sometimes that just doesn't happen. Sometimes you need to go to the outside. Our first goal is to keep it inside.
Right.
If we don't have somebody good from the inside, we'll go to the outside. Doesn't happen very often. We like people to come in and sell cars for us first and work their way up and learn a little bit about us. But we try not to really go from the outside. We like to keep that inside because, again, if I can prove to you that you've done a good job and here's the next job and you do a good job there and here's the next job, your friends are going to see what you're doing that work with you and say, hey, if I do a good job, I might get the next job.
Correct. And that's that's definitely what we want from people, because like you said, if the cost of right. and training on a churn basis is too expensive to really keep going. I mean, you really want to keep up with it. So you talked earlier about how things have changed. Salespeople have changed tremendously in what motivates them and how they go about their lives. How do you keep up with that, man? I mean, because I know when I was in the 90s, selling in the late 90s, it's all about money. Yeah. Throw me the money and I'll go do what you want. Now I feel like people are not as motivated by the financials as they are other parts.
Well, there's a lot that goes into it. Pay, of course, is probably one of the top 5.
Yeah, agree.
Company culture is definitely one of them. Incentives, benefits, 401k, profit sharing. I mean, all those things definitely come into it. And I think the other thing that comes into it that we're consistently looking at is how can we make their work life better, right?
So you're going to get into culture because I really want you to talk about it.
We're getting there,
Yeah.
but first, before I get there, right now, one of the things I'm trying to look at and really taking a good hard look at it is a 4-day work week.
Okay.
For salespeople, which is totally outside of the box.
For our industry. It's
industry,
not for other
you don't hear
people,
of it.
but for us, it's crazy, right?
Because
that's insane.
It is. It
Right?
is. And, you know, we have a set schedule for our salespeople about 44 hours a week, which in the car industry as
is
a
already pretty awesome.
Is pretty good. But now I need to keep looking because as younger people come into our business, we need to look at what drives them.
Yeah.
Motivates them, what's going to make them want to come to work here. I don't know if I can get this done or not, but it's something I need to look at. We need to constantly be looking at how we can better our business and how we can better the people that work for us and why it is they would want to come work for us.
Dude, I got to tell you, this is exciting. 4-day work week. How long you been working on this? I mean,
6 months.
Is it really? Is this something that's a you thing in your campus?
It is.
With Tom?
It is.
How's that gotten there?
Conversations with Tom, yes.
Those are interesting.
Conversation with HR, it's tough.
Yes.
I took a step backwards and I pulled about 16 people in and I said, here's what I'm thinking of. Here's what I would like to do. I don't know if we can get it done. We might spend hours and hours on this and never ever get it done, but I want to look at it. Everybody I pulled in was jacked about it.
Jacked.
Everybody's like, this is a great idea. But if I can get the buy-in from them as they're all talking to their peers, it's going to work instead of saying, Kendall said this is what we're
let it be a
do.
prairie fire.
Kendall
Let it come back to you as their idea.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
So if I can get their buy-in into it, you know, my hope was January 1st. I don't think I can get there yet. Because when you're talking 45 salespeople.
Because you're going to do it for your whole
18 sales,
campus, right?
whole
You're not going to
campus.
just say to, hey, Honda
Yeah,
or whatever.
right.
You're going to say your whole campus.
Right.
45 salespeople get on the same schedule for 4 days. But
I don't know. We'll see.
But I was just about to say to you, one of the most difficult things today to do right now is hire salespeople and mechanics. But if you put an ad out for salespeople to work 4-day work weeks, I mean, where did it come? Where did it hit you at? Like, the 4-day work week.
You see a lot of it. I mean, I have friends of mine that work Monday through Thursday, and they work 10-hour days and they're done.
Sure.
You know, they have Friday, Saturday, Sunday off. So with us being open Monday nights and Thursday nights till 8, Saturdays, it's a little bit more hairy. I think there's an opportunity there. We'll try to pilot it first to see how it works with a few people. But, you know, I'm thinking to take the next step in our business to be on cutting edge, we got to do something different to attract people. And you phrased it, we're having a hard time finding techs just like everybody is. We're having a hard time finding salespeople just like everybody is. I mean, everybody's in the same boat that we are.
Yeah. So how are you going to step out and be different? And a 4-day work week is something most car people couldn't sit and wrap their heads around.
Right, because
conversational.
Right, because I could tell you all day long how great we are.
Yeah.
You don't know how great we are until you come experience us.
Correct. And I don't work there, but for 7 years I've been pretty much a fabric of the culture. And your culture is what is so attractive to me. As a matter of fact, Steffi will say, if I'm ever to go back to retail, the only place I'm ever allowed to go back to is Zimbrick. Because she's seen how the worst of the worst live, because I've been doing this a long time in other markets, and then we've watched you guys. What about your culture stands out to you the most, having been here as long as you have?
Culture's big. Culture's everything. I mean, when you talk about sports teams, I mean, when you talk about your home life, family life, it's culture. It's it. It's your base. It's your core. And, you know, I have taken the approach for 16 years when I stepped into this job that I need to be 3 things. I need to be visible, I need to be accessible, and I need to be approachable. Visible, accessible, approachable. If I can be those 3 things to my people, I think they're going to enjoy working for us. People want to see me, they want to talk to me, they want to know what's going on in the world of Zimbrick.
Yep.
And if I can tell them what's going on, it's great. Accessible. Everybody says they have an open door policy. That's great. We all have an open door policy. Let's take me out of my office and then see how big the door really is.
Sure.
Because now I'm in their world where they're turning a wrench, where they're working on a car, where they're doing parts.
Right.
Now they can talk to me more.
Right.
And then I just need to be approachable. I need to be able to listen and listen some more and listen some more and then advise and coach. And visible, accessible, approachable. Doesn't work for everybody, but it works for me because that's the type of person I am. And I think people enjoy that about me because they know that they can talk to me about anything. It's important to know everything about you, your spouse, your partner, your kids, dance, baseball, soccer, school with your kids. It's important to know all those things.
Because that's all important to you, though. So when you leave work, you're a coach, right? Yep. You're taking care of the kids on that stuff. Yep. I mean, that's part of your deal. You use the word coaching. I like it. Do you find yourself just doing it daily? I mean, is it a motivational thing on the coaching aspect? Is it what is the biggest part of being a coach to you? What stands out in a given day?
I think being the biggest thing about being a coach is being a mentor. Okay. I mean, people need somebody that they can go to ask questions to. People need somebody that they can look up to. We try to have a group of people that we can go to and we can think about problems with, solutions with, come up with thoughts about how to better us. But if I didn't have a coach for me, every single person needs a coach. I'm not the only coach. I have a lot of coaches out there as well too. Tom actually is one of my coaches. Lon is one of my coaches. But everybody needs a coach because nobody's perfect.
Right.
To me, I need to get better every day. I am not perfect. Nobody in this business is perfect. Nobody has all the answers. But there are people out there that can help you work through things. Mentors are important, and that's what we try to do, is to say everybody needs a coach. Everybody has a coach. Unfortunately, a lot of people have a lot of coaches, and they're telling them a lot of different things and advising them a different way.
Yeah.
It's different. But if you have a really solid mentor, I'll say, mentor, coach, mentor, that's important, because that's really teaching, coaching, educating, driving. I mean, it's all of those.
But again, it's all part of your culture. You guys want to make sure that people have that accessible to them. You want to make sure that they do that. You guys also do a wonderful annual holiday party, which I know is coming up. I mean, you guys do profit sharing, like you said. It's one of those things that, watching from afar, it's been really great. Now, you haven't, as you've said, this is your only job. This is what Kendall knows of the car business. How do you see what you guys do differently? Like, how do you get to see how the other side lives if this is only your gig? Like, where do you hear about the bad parts?
It's hard.
And the headaches of this business?
It's hard. I mean, you hear a lot of it from people. I mean, for me, every month with the people that directly report to me, I sit down with them and do a one-on-one every month. So it's their time with me. They can ask me whatever. I can ask them whatever. I do 11 of them each and every month, because those are the people that solely report directly to me.
Correct.
So I can sit down with them. They hear things from people that are coming in to apply. They see what's going on out in the working world. So I get a lot of my info not only through reading auto news and stuff, but I also get it a lot from what people are telling us.
Yeah.
I mean, we need to get better. We like to mystery shop. Okay. So
ourselves or others?
What? Yes, both.
Okay, yes.
It's very hard when you make a phone call and you're pretending to be somebody else, and one of your salespeople answer the phone, and you're like, God, I hope they do a good job. I really want them to do a good job. It's really hard. But website, person, phone call, I mean, we do it all from Zimbrick to Zimbrick, but also
on the exterior,
the competitors as well too.
And then you can see it. Then you kind of see. You say to yourself, okay, maybe not for us.
Our business isn't really hard. We just make it hard.
Is that not the best fact here today? Because I think that's what's happening, right? We get so worried. The reason I want to do this season this way, to talk about people and process, because the last season, all we talked about is technology. Blah, 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 blah. Technology this, digital retail, shop, click, drive, all this nonsense.
Yep.
None of it matters.
Not if you don't have the right people.
Right? And if you don't know how to talk to a customer or engage a human being, what tool matters, and why be unreasonable? Right. Zimbrick always is looking for the best way to engage with customers. That's why you have a centralized BDC. I mean, there are things in place. So what have you seen the customer change? We talked about the salespeople. How have you seen the customer change?
Customers change a lot. They have a lot more tools for them to use. We see them not spending a lot of time with us now.
Okay.
It's a lot over the phone.
Sure.
Not so much time spent in the store, and that's where I think we're best, is when we can get face to face with somebody and they can see us. I mean, we have beautiful buildings.
Beautiful.
Everything is clean,
it's all
organized,
it's all new.
neat.
Most of it's new.
None of that matters if you can't get them there.
No.
It's setting the appointment.
and getting that relationship though, and saying to them, look, if we could do it this way, we do it that way, and you guys also set delivery schedules whenever possible. So it's not just like buy a car, move a car out. I mean, you guys really try to make it an event for that customer. Again, has that always gone on?
Always going on. Since day one, since I started my first day, it was always about the delivery experience. Getting them in. Flowers, bows, ribbons, pictures.
These bays. I mean, you guys have delivery bays.
Right.
Now you're letting people do deliveries outside. We're in Wisconsin.
Because it takes, give or take an hour to two to really go through a car to teach them all that. The thing also we do is we ask them to come back again. So if they haven't learned everything the first time, that's okay, because I would not learn everything.
Are you doing it on a one-on-one, or are you doing it like a service, kind of an open house thing?
One-on-one.
One-on-one.
So after they go through the car and Sean says, geez, I really don't know.
I'm exhausted, dude. It's been an hour. I gotta go.
I'm like spent.
Yeah.
We ask them to come back in a week again, and we'll go through the rest of it or go through what they don't know. It's minor to pair their phones for them. But if you can just do the simple thing of pairing their phone for them, that sets the whole wow experience.
Correct.
And that just is great. But there's more to it than pairing their phones. But there's so much to know. If you don't know it all, you got to invite them back in to redo everything again and spend more time with them. They're going to love you forever.
Right.
They're going to love you forever.
Because they take care of it. They don't have any questions about their cars. They don't want to know what happens next.
Because they know that you care about them as a person. It's not just about selling them a car.
Well, right. And I mean, no different than what happened right when we walked in here. Right? People you do business with who know you. Kendall, nice to see you.
Yeah.
By the way, car's broken. Can you help me out? Exactly. Can you take care of me? Right? I mean, it happens anywhere we go together. People who know you, do business with you. Yep. Isn't that really what it's about? Right? It's about the people engaging with the people. You watch again. Back to James. Watch James with the customer. It's fun. It's exciting. The dude's doing something. He's making a show of it. Right. You know what I mean?
Well, and I've said since the beginning, energy and enthusiasm sell.
That's it, man.
It really does.
That's all I got.
And that's what James has.
Yes.
James has an energy and enthusiasm to sell, and a lot of our salespeople do. And how can we get excited across the desk to help the salesperson sell a car? If I'm jacked and juiced to help you sell a car, you're going to want to sell a car. If I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, that's great. Yeah, we're going to give them that.
God,
oh, my God, thanks for bringing me this. Oh, my God, we're going to make this work for you. This is number 13 for you. We got this. We're going to get this done today.
Dude, it does not happen enough on the sales desk side, man. Right. Is that how you were, honestly, as a sales manager? Because you've always had the big energy. That's how you were? You were jacked up for your guy to come in your office?
I had a note on my desk, and I looked at it all the time, and all it said was thank you. Two words, thank you. Everybody that brought me something, it was thank you.
Always.
Appreciate the business.
That's awesome.
And people will work harder for you for that.
That's right. And you do. You have. So, I mean, again, talking about people in process, as hard as it may be to find salespeople or mechanics, one of the bigger issues that dealerships have is turnover. That isn't necessarily a Zimbrick specific problem. It's that you have trouble hiring, sure.
Yeah.
But turnover, how do you minimize it as much as you do, in your opinion?
It's hard. We work really with people. We probably give people sometimes a little bit too much leash.
Okay.
We give them maybe too many bites for free. We maybe give them too many chances. But again, we saw something in them when we talked to them the first time that we need to give them a chance. And just because it's been a month and they sold 1 or 2 cars, that doesn't mean they're bad. Just because it's been a couple months and they haven't sold enough cars, that doesn't mean they're bad. We need to work with them to get better. If I can make them a success, I'm going to be a success as well too.
Correct.
But we're a little bit too friendly sometimes.
Sure.
We're a little bit too nice, which is not a bad thing.
No, it's not a bad thing.
And especially when you can't find people, but people know what is expected of them. They know how many cars they need to sell a month, minimum acceptable level of standards.
Which you have and give to everyone.
We have them and give to everybody.
So it's
from service to parts to sales to F&I to everybody.
Everyone has a minimum level of expectation for their job.
Yep.
Written out, clear as day, no questions asked.
Correct.
People, really, ask yourself, how many of you right now sitting watching this show can say what this man just said? I'm going to guess less than 5% of you people can say that. So think about minimum level of acceptable job structure, because what he's talking about is huge. So again, from the beginning, that minimum level
Yes, there's always a but.
Sure, but.
There's always things that happen.
Yeah. And we're cool with that. We're not on it.
Strikes happen, recession happens. There are things that happen that aren't going to make people achieve that goal, and then you need to look and say, okay, why? Inside conditions or outside conditions? What made them not achieve their goal?
Right. Because during the 08, 09, I remember talking to you guys when we all started working together. You guys made sure your people were taken care of. I mean, it was like the number one thing where dealers were worried about cutting people, getting rid of waste. You guys were like, look, we're here. We're going to weather this storm together.
Yep.
You've been a GM now how long? 16 years, you said?
16 years.
16 years you've been a GM.
Right.
The dudes who all work for you, have they all come up with you, basically? You're kind of 11?
Yeah. Well, I think you kind of build your bench.
Yeah.
And you need to have your people that kind of follow you. I would assume if I ever left the business, which I won't, hopefully I'm a good enough coach that people want to follow me.
Sure.
That they want to lead with me. You think about a head coach that leaves a team, a lot of his assistants leave with him.
Right.
And I'd assume the next person that comes in would want their own team in there. But yeah, a lot of the team that has been with me a long time. A lot of the team I have has grown into other jobs, GMs as well. I think about Steve Bell.
What a great example.
Steve actually worked for me for many years. When I talked to him about becoming a manager, he was like, I don't know, Kendall, my job, it's good. I'm selling a lot of cars. I don't know. And I said, what is it that you're afraid of? I don't want to fail. My immediate response back was, I said, I won't allow you to fail. Trust me.
Okay.
And he did, and Steve's the GM of our Chevrolet store now. I think he's going on about year 4 or 5.
I think we're in year 5.
Yeah.
We're in year 5.
So, I mean, it's people like that you're really proud of to look back and say, I don't know how much I helped him or how much I coached him, but I think I did, and I think he's at where he's at today because of some things that I did.
I would have to agree. And the pride, though, right? You can see when you talk about it, the pride that you have about it. You could talk to Steve about it. He had the same pride about coming out because I've had the discussion with him. Do you have salespeople who approach you and ask you how it is that they can get on the track? Like, are there people during these kind of side sessions when they see you in a dealership, like, hey, Kendall, how do I get on the track? Like, is that a conversation happening?
It happens if they want it to happen.
Okay.
Right?
Because you're open to it, is your point.
Yeah, I mean, everybody is open to the next job if they want the next job. Some of them don't want it, some of them do. And again, I go back to what are they doing to make themselves better today than they were yesterday? And it's not just selling a car.
Right.
What book have you read? What cast have you watched? What are you doing to better yourself each and every day?
Because you do the book thing as well, right?
We do. My team, which is about 35 people, sales managers, finance managers, service managers, parts managers, accounting. We read about 6 books a year.
Okay.
And some books are 100 pages long, some are 150 pages long. I've kind of found that people who don't like to read, they like about 100 to 125 pages.
Sure.
Not everybody likes to read, but it's a way for me to put into their minds so they can more intelligently speak, and they'll be better for it. And I've had a lot of people come to me and say, hey, thanks for giving me that book. I gave it to my son, I gave it to my daughter, I gave it to my spouse, I gave it to my parents to read.
Sure.
And they're passing them down, which is the whole goal of books, is to take a book and have them read and say, hey, this was so good, I'm going to pass it down to my team. And that's the goal. Manager takes it and goes, I want these people to read it next.
As a manager, what do you do with the guy who, because again, you have little turnover. There are log jams that are created. What happens when a salesman approaches Kendall and says, Kendall, I want to be a manager. I got nowhere to be a manager. I got to go. What happens? Because I know it's happened to you. Because I know you've had those discussions.
Yeah.
What do you do? How do you approach it?
It's hard. It's hard to look somebody in the face and say, yeah, you're ready. We just don't have the job right now. Patience works. You try to work with them to help them stay, but in the end, knowing that if they go somewhere else, you helped grow that person for that job. They got the next job because of you, and that's okay.
Yeah.
We hate to lose them. We don't want to see them go.
Yeah.
But if there's nothing coming down the pipeline, and we try to tell them, just be patient. You never know. Our business changes every day. Tom goes out and buys something else, it's going to create a whole new job.
Steve Bell.
Somebody goes up, you know.
So because otherwise, if without Chevy, Steve Bell
Steve is still actually at the corner working for us.
Right. So it is about the domino effect to fall. One of the bigger things that I like to really talk to you about, because you've been doing this as long as you have with Zimbrick, is when you go and you interact with the OEM or you interact with other people. Are they typically asking you more questions about your culture than you are about theirs? Like the people who don't work for Zimbrick trying to figure out what goes on in Zimbrick?
Well, one of the yes. One of the things I always ask before somebody leaves us from one of our brands is I say, how can we be better? What should we be doing differently?
On an exit interview, is what you're saying to me?
No, I'm saying about...
or like from an OEM standpoint.
From an OEM standpoint,
So who you're meeting with,
yeah.
So you're not interested in having people tell you how great you are. You're interested in hearing the opposite.
I want to know who's out there that had the next best idea.
Yeah.
Who's got the greatest thing out there that isn't a competitor to ours because, they're not going to share, but best idea sessions are great. Who's out there doing something? Mystery shops are great because we might learn something that we're not doing.
Sure.
Right? So I really don't need somebody to tell me how great it is we are and we love you and you guys do such a great job. I love to get those from clients, employees especially, how much they enjoy working for us. To me, that's expected. We should be doing that from the beginning.
Because our people should feel that way.
Our people need to feel touched and loved every day. It's hard to tell somebody you love them. Forget about me. I love you. That's what family is all about.
That's what you got to do, right? That's how you got to pull people in.
Right.
When you look at as we wrap it up, looking at people and process as a whole, which would you 1A, 1B? It's like a chicken or the egg, right? But what is most? Because I use the Bill Belichick. Right here we go with our sports analogies.
Right.
Dude just takes people, fits them in.
Right.
His quarterback's been the same, but everybody else rotated around.
Right.
But they follow the same process. What's number one to Kendall?
It's hard. I've always said it's either a people problem or a process problem.
Right.
If it's a people problem, pretty easy fix. If it's a process problem, pretty easy fix. So I think the people come before the process.
Because you can, I believe in you and what you do. You can fit people into your process if the person has what is necessary to fit, is how I feel.
And if they are willing to learn and grow.
Correct, which will be part of your
culture
onboarding discussions that you will have with them.
Education is key.
When you sit as a general manager and you're a multi-store general manager, and that's a very difficult job because everyone expects you to be at Honda or be at Hyundai or be available to them. How do you manage that role? Because a lot of people watching the show are going to be GMs of single points. How is it that you can work your role, people and process, over multiple locations? Is it about the people who are with you on that stride, or how you time management? How do we do it?
Yeah, I think it's not a quick fix at every store. Everybody is different. So process at Honda needs to be tweaked a little bit from the process at Hyundai. It can't be the same, right? The client's different.
Slightly different.
Right? So it can be the same goals, but the process might be tweaked a little bit.
And that's okay.
And that's fine. Right. For me, we talk about processes probably at least 3 to 4 times a year to say what's broken, what actually needs to be fixed. Why is it we've lost ground in here and we've gained in here?
Sure.
Some things we're doing really well, we need to understand why it is we're doing so well. The things that aren't going so well, we need to understand why. And a lot of times it boils down to it's a people problem or a process problem.
And like you said, once you identify, fixes are fairly easy. Moving a human, readjusting a process, we can do all of that. But we have to take the time to do it. You have to care enough.
Yep.
So the process that you referred to, the process sort of meetings, do those happen as something gets broken, or is something you just plan to check in on each other and make sure?
So I actually meet with my team as a brand 1 time a month. We meet for about an hour and a half. It's the sales manager new, the sales manager used, the finance manager, the parts manager, the service director, and accounting and marketing. And we sit down for an hour and a half once a month, and we look at the past, and we look at the future, and we look and see what it is we need to do differently to better serve our guests. And a lot of that times it's numbers, a lot of the times it's people, a lot of the times it's It's just sitting there talking to say what's broken, what's not going so well. And a lot of times it's like, hey, we're doing really well in here.
But you have
and here's why. But we have a process discussion monthly.
Which is in itself a process.
Yep.
The fact that you do that.
We can hear them.
We got basketball practice coming here.
That's
So
awesome.
all right, well let's wrap this
Let's
up.
go.
Let's
2
go.
on 2.
Yeah, we're gonna have
2
to
on 2. 2 on
wait,
2.
well you take one of them. I know the two of us have a chance, but actually you're a ball player. I don't know. I'm more of a point guard. It doesn't matter.
Everybody wants to be a point guard. That's the problem.
I can pass. I don't like
Right.
to shoot. I'm a
Right.
passer.
I'll shoot.
I'm a passer. You shoot. So let's wrap it up. We have what would be the one thing you overarching when it refers to people in process? What stands out to you to just kind of leave the people with that's important to remember?
You got to trust them and you got to care about them. I have a note on my desk, and I made everybody come up with what's their one word in 2019. A lot of people came up with care. Some people chose the word accountability. My actual word for 2019 was trust. And when you have a campus our size, 340 people, it's hard sometimes to trust that everybody's doing the right thing.
Sure.
But you need to trust that you've showed them what to do. You've not told them what to do. You need to show them what to do and what's expected of you. And once they know the expectation and it's clear, you need to trust that they're going to do the right thing.
Wow. You guys, you heard it here first. Care and trust is the biggest thing. Kendall, thank you so much,
Appreciate you, man.
You're the best. We appreciate it. Folks, thank you so much. You can find us all over Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn. And Kendall's on LinkedIn. Zimbrick Automotive is all over Facebook. Thank you guys so much, and we'll see you again next year.
Happy holidays.